Join us. We are privileged to have one of the lead Republican negotiators on all this, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford. Mr. Lankford, welcome, sir. We appreciate your time very much. I know you're in the middle of this thing. I hear some of these meetings have been yelling and screaming, and I hope fistfights don't come out, but you never know. It's a pretty contentious issue. So tell me, what's happening right now, okay? What specifically are you asking for as a Republican negotiator?
Well, thanks for having me on, by the way. Thanks for all the lead-in on it. And I would tell you what we're working through is some of the most basic things. We've got to be able to fix asylum. We can't have catch and release. We've got to have some way to be able to manage our border on a day-to-day basis. We're dealing with a Democrat Senate and a Democrat president who intentionally are looking for ways to be able to keep the border open. They do not want to be able to slow down the flow here, or if they want to slow it down, they've been very clear, they want to just reduce it a little bit on it. But as was mentioned before by Bill, what we've had is record numbers in 2021, 2022, 2023. In fact, the highest September ever was last September. The highest October ever was last October. Highest November ever was the last November. And the highest day ever was Tuesday of this week. So it just continues to skyrocket up in unimaginable numbers. And we're just absolutely overwhelmed with literally millions of people flowing in. We're not asking for something crazy. We're asking what the American people are asking for. We want a legal immigration system that is not chaotic, and we want to stop people that are coming in abusing our laws.
Well, let me, here's just a quick sound from Senator Schumer just a little while ago, actually. Please take a listen, Mr. Lankford.
But it's not realistic for Republicans to suddenly hold up Ukraine aid, which they claim to support, and then suddenly demand that we take up border, which has been a problem for years, and then solve it in a matter of days. Nevertheless, we Democrats were willing to give it a try.
Well, okay. He's blowing smoke at you, but he says we're willing to give it a try. I mean, what about this asylum system? This is being used to open the borders. And I think the asylum system and this so-called parole system, Senator Lankford, should be closed down, okay? There's just more excuses to catch and release.
Yeah, let me say a couple things on that. For Senator Schumer to say that Republicans are bugging this in, interestingly enough, he's frustrated with his own president because President Biden was the one who actually sent a request over to the Senate and the House to say, I want funding for national security purposes, Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and our southern border. And then they immediately followed that up and said, by the way, money for the southern border will just be a tourniquet. What we really need is a change in policy. So we've actually responded back to, and I know Senator Schumer is upset about that, but we've actually responded back to that. The asylum system's been gained significantly. If we go back to just the first term of the Obama administration, not that long ago, if we go to the Obama administration, what was crossing our southern border asking for asylum in a year is now what's happening every 2 days here in the United States. That just tells you how things have dramatically changed. So we're not talking about ancient history here. We're talking about literally going back 10 years ago and how we actually managed the border, and to be able to say people should not be able to game the system, be released in the country because they say, I have fear in my country, and then get in line for 5 years to be able to wait for a hearing. That's absurd.
So on that point, why not have them wait? Whatever their motives may be, you may have to find out their motives, okay? But why not have them wait in a friendly country? For example, Mexico. Because I think the Remain in Mexico policy under Trump was a big success. Can that be one of your demands for this legislation?
Yeah, I'm actually can't go through all of the different issues, but I would tell you the most basic element of this is if you release people into the country, they do not check in.
Right.
They're just gone. They disappear into the country. So whatever structure we create, we've got to make sure that the asylum hearing is not 4 or 5 years from now. It is actually when you cross the border, and that we're not releasing people into the country to never show up for a hearing.
When you mention structure, I mean, that word, you know, I've been in and out of government myself for many times. What are you talking about, structure? I mean, I'm suggesting, how about remaining in a friendly country? I just happened to choose Mexico out of thin air. Somebody else has tried that before. Would that be part of your new structure?
So I would tell you, you and I could sit down and be able to fix this in a moment. I've got to be able to fix this with a Democrat White House and a Democrat Senate to be able to resolve it. I would say, yes, that absolutely would work and would work immediately. It's obviously been proven that that would work because it worked under the Trump administration. He made that work immediately on it. So all of these are different ideas to be able to get there. My goal is not to be able to say exactly how it's done, until we actually can come to agreement. It is what is actually going to be done. And that what is, if you cross the border, you got to get an asylum hearing immediately. You've got to have a higher standard to actually get a chance to enter the country. When you have 21,000 people that asked for asylum 10 years ago in a year, we understand how out of control that is when we have 2 million now crossing and just being released in the country
not gonna work.
to go live illegally. That does not work.
It's not going to work. You know that's not. An asylum hearing, quote unquote, you know that's not going to work. That's what they're doing.
No.
And the money that they're
Yeah,
suggesting for this is to facilitate immigration into
can't do that.
illegal
Cannot
immigration.
do that.
It's not to stop it,
cannot
it's
do
to
that.
facilitate it.
So that's exactly right. What they have used in the past 3 years for immigration enforcement was actually immigration enhancement
Yes.
to be able to allow people to get
Yes.
into the country faster. That absolutely has to be able to stop. People that actually show up for an asylum hearing, that we actually do those hearings, they are turned around in mass numbers because people don't qualify for asylum. Asylum is very difficult to be able to qualify for, but right now we're literally releasing people into the country saying, show up at your hearing 4 years from now. They'll never show up for it, and they're living underground in our cities. That will devastate our nation long term. And quite frankly, this administration is keenly aware. We've had tens of thousands of people released in the country that they've identified as special interest migrants. Those are people that are by definition a national security risk to our nation. They have just been passed on into the country on their own recognizance, and we're saying make it stop, and we've got a plan to be able to do that.
I hope you can do it, Senator. I got to get out. We're always short of time.
Gotta get it done.
Thank you for coming on, Mr. Lankford. We appreciate it.